So welcome to game 26. Thank you, Scarlet Kitty. Bye, WTF. Game 26 of the World Cup 2022. After this, there'll only be 5 more games left to look at. So this is a game I played against Steven Schwitzer, which was probably this game was probably the most, like, if I look back, I was the most confused this game of all the other games that I played. And not for, like, I didn't know what to do position-wise reasons, but you'll see what happens this game. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I spent the first half of the tournament playing some incredible players and losing to a lot of them and feeling like maybe I was getting outplayed even though I was playing pretty well. And then I started playing a lot worse, and like my results weren't suffering as much because I was either drawing well or playing people that were making lots of mistakes. So when I got down to all these like lower tables, because I was like 10 at 12 or whatever, I think maybe I was 14 and 10 here. I don't remember. 14-11. I don't remember exactly what my record was, but I was playing people. I was in the bottom half for a while, and I was playing people that I hadn't played because they, with the pairings, they minimize repeat opponents when you're in the bottom half. So you get to play a variety of opponents because you're not doing as well. If you're doing well, you face the same opponents way more often if you're in the top half nearing the end of this sort of tournament. So anyways, I was paired against Steven Schwitzer, who wasn't doing so well in the tournament. And I opened with a bingo of Pentoad. So starts off really well. But immediately Steven comes back with Greaves. And it's like, okay, well, I guess nothing really happened here. I thought I was going to get a huge advantage, but opponent also had an opening bingo. And once again, like, that happens so often this tournament where either me or my opponent opened with a bingo. It happened way more than it was supposed to. I've said this before, it's around 1 in 7 to have an opening bingo in Scrabble. And this happened, like, I think already 5 times for me and like 7 times for my opponents at this point in 26 games, which is completely insane. And here I played Hoking, trying to take the points. Here, like, I could play okay, which I did not see, which is a pretty cool play. Keeping the NG combination, which works decently with the I and Greaves. Then there's Korun, which I guess has the most scoring balance. Korun keeping GHE. Sets up an A hook, not that dangerous of a hook. Sets up a Y hook as well, and the S hook. But GHE is going to allow me to score decently next turn, so that's worth thinking about. And then there's Hoking, which scores the most but keeps EU, which is probably the worst leave of the 3. And that is what I played. And maybe I should have played I7 OK. So I play Hoking. Yeah, it makes OK and EH, which is pretty funny. Good spot there. And here on my score sheet, I screwed something up. I guess it's not really worth showing, but I'm showing it anyway. Where, like, for some reason I put the next play that was made in the, like, 3rd row rather than the 2nd row. I rarely make this sort of mistake. It was just really weird. But yeah, Foam comes down for 25. I think he played it here. No, I think he played it here. Yeah, played Foam here. Makes the most sense, I guess. And I had this rack, and I played Illuvia for 29. Not much else to see here. Steven plays Goy. It's playable. We are playing with the slurs. And here I have Outrace. And no spot for it, but I do have this one bingo of Educator. And when I made this play, I wasn't sure if the Y hook was valid. I wrote it down, and I wrote down that I was 50% sure of its validity. Here, I'll show that again. Educatory 50%, which means I'm 50% sure of the validity of the word, which usually is not enough to play it. So ale comes down, and I draw into this rack, I believe. No, I draw into this rack. And I've already aligned the word I made, which is mouthfully, but there's also Cyathium and Humanity, which I missed. And there's also plays with Educatory, which I was wondering if it was valid. But I ended up playing mouthfully. Thymie is a really cool play. And I want to take a look at what Quackle thinks here. And Cyathium does not take an S, which I would definitely have played and would have accepted if he had played it. But the plural is just Cyathia. So Cyathium is probably the best play given that fact. Because even without that fact, like, it's a really good play. But it not taking an S hook makes it a lot better, and makes it even better if you consider that a human opponent might hook an S on it. And if you know that it's not an S taking word, that is a huge, huge added value, because you're going to get a free turn an overwhelming amount of the time, because the opponent's probably going to try it. But Thymie, 54 points, keeping the blank. Pretty good. But yeah, if you don't know the hooks of a word, it's a very good rule of thumb to play something else if it's close.
You also might get a free turn with Thymie.
Binac makes a good point, where if I play Educatory and I'm sure it's valid, I mean, I'm sure Thymie is also valid, and I could get a free turn with that too. So I think this play and this play are better, but Humanity is also probably better than Mouthfully, because Mouthfully just opens a triple for free. So the Humanity, and Inhumanity would probably happen at some point too, which would be pretty cool. This seems like the fourth best play. So I'm gonna write all this down. Oops. Notation is hard, folks. So here I played Mouthfully. I could also get a challenge with Mouthfully, but it was the only word I saw and that I was sure of. And here, Steven plays Agio. When he played that, I'm like, oh, look, it could be an X setup. That'd be a cool X setup. And here I take the triple out. I draw the second blank, and I just play Buyer, which died might be better actually, but seems pretty close between Buyer and died. But I think I do want to take away this spot now. I also would want to take away the Educator's spot, but I don't have a great play to do that at this point. Did I say thanks, Binac, for resubbing? Thank you. I don't know if I did. But yeah, here Steven plays Randy's. for 89. Yep. I thought there was a math error there. No. I hope I haven't made any more math errors this tournament because I made way too many. Here I play fawn. I don't draw any constants. And at this point, Steven starts to sort of like seem extremely unsure of what to do. And he starts putting down, I think he starts putting down ticks. And so immediately when he shows me his XI, I'm like, oh my gosh, he has like 14F XI for 50 points. What is he doing? And so he puts down like ticks, and then he puts down nicks, and then he like takes it back, and then he puts down like axite, and I'm just like, what is going on? And then he finally settles with XI for 50. And when he makes this play, he says 34 and hits the clock. And I was very confused. And I stopped the clock and I said, that's 50. And so then he'd also looked confused and then ultimately realized that he had just played on the triple letter score, not the double letter score. Double letter score would have been what scored 34. And I said, yeah, seems like it's a clear decision now, right? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. So yeah, if you ever wanted proof that I don't bank points, this is a clear example. If I were vindictive and this were not against the rules, I would definitely have let him say 34, because there should not be an expert Scrabble player on Earth that can't tell a triple letter score from a double letter score. I don't care what you tell me, and this is no personal grievance towards Steven. Like he just had a moment. And like whatever, people have moments, but if an expert Scrabble player who's playing in a championship event makes this mistake, there's a part of me that's just like, you should let them make this mistake. But of course, it's against the rules, and I would not do that unless it weren't against the rules. And yeah, I feel like even if it like we're okay, I would probably still be like, dude, like, come on, this is 50 points. I'm not gonna let you sell yourself short there. So, anyways, that whole debacle ended, and I was just like, wow, what, like, where am I? That's basically what the thought was in my head. Like, where am I? Am I not like playing this like extremely difficult game against these extremely experienced opponents where I'm doing really poorly in the event because of the strength of my opponents mainly? And now here I am, like after doing poorly, I'm playing people that are doing even worse than me. And it was just not a good feeling. So yeah, very confused moment. But ultimately Steven did make the right play, even if for the wrong reasons. And I draw the Q and decide to play it off. I could also play Zin. I don't know if I even saw this Zin play. I think I saw Kadi. But I ended up playing QI for 24, I think. Yeah. Because, yeah, I played it here because if I draw a T or an I might get dits for like 80 points. And I also kind of block the OXO hooks for certain plays that would play there. But mainly, I played QI to try and set myself up in this spot with an I or a T draw. And if I draw just an I, yeah, I get dits. And if I draw the T, I get dits. And otherwise, I have some options with the Z. I can drop it for 26. So that was my thought process. But I don't know if I saw Zin. Zin looks pretty strong. Of course, you want to get rid of your Q here, but there is a spot here for 11 if I really want it. But yeah, possible that Zin is just too many points. And this also does give back an eye hook that that Steven might have. But given that I know that he has ATE on his rack, it makes it far less likely that he has another eye to hit the spot because I already know 3 of his 7 tiles. So I took the chance that he didn't have it, but he did. He plays Bile for 35. And yeah, I'm not really making anything happen here. I draw this rack and I'm just really confused. I don't know what to do. Looking at the position now, still don't know what to do, but I don't think the play I made was any good. I played Dad down here for 18. The idea behind this play, keeping the Z again, even though again I could play something like even Dits for 42, which I considered at length because it puts me up 72 points. Seems very hard to lose after this play. But I ended up playing Dad. I probably could have played it here, but my idea was that if I draw, should have scored as 13, good one. If I draw AO or EO or OA, I get Zealot for a ton of points. So once again, I'm just hoping for some good Z draw, but I could be spending too much time in that regard, definitely. But at this point, I was kind of like just really confused about what had just happened and just wanted to get the game over with. And if he wins, he wins. I think that's how I kind of was feeling. But yeah, I don't draw any vowels, but I draw a very strong play of Whiz for 56. And at this point, I'm ahead pretty handily, 87 points. And I am sitting on an unplayable bingo, which then becomes playable after the play of Lot. So I look into that, and I draw the S as the last tile. Steven plays Jetés, which is the best play. And I go out with partners. And I win the game 536 to 402. And yeah, what to say about this game? Did not play perfectly, but I drew many bingos. And yeah, didn't play terribly, but this was quite the interesting moment. It really forced me to like reflect on what was going on at that very moment. It might be elitist of me, but it was just very, yeah, very odd. But other than that, like Steven doesn't seem to have played poorly. Like he bingoed twice. He made the best endgame play and scored 400 points. So what can I say? So that was the game, round 26. And after this, 5 rounds left of the World Cup, and then I can finally rest. Just kidding. I can finally switch to the Scrabble Players Championship, which is a tournament that was held around a week after this one. Where I'm very sad because a lot of the games, I didn't look at those games yet, and I probably don't remember much of what happened very clearly. And I usually like to analyze games when they're fresh in my mind, but there's just so many games to analyze, and I like bringing you guys content. So that's my reasoning for not doing this on my own time. An interesting discussion going on in chat about points. But yeah, thanks again for watching if you're on YouTube, and I'll see you on the next episode.